Hello, I'm Tony Frisella Sr. at Frisella Nursery. We're talking about different types of trimming today. This is a yew. This is called a Niagara yew. Very common, especially years ago, more so. I still like this plant. It's a great plant for the right areas. These are very, very large. We've got this purposely out this way. It's grown out quite a bit. We're going to show you the different types of trimming techniques. This is the Baca trimmer, which I had mentioned a little earlier. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go through and hedge shear this plant, and then I'm going to go back in and show you how to do selective pruning. This makes it a lot easier on you on how to do this. Okay, so basically we're going to go in and we're going to get kind of our size down where we want this plant. And I'm not too afraid to cut into these pretty hard. That's one thing people don't realize, is you can cut fairly hard. You don't want to cut into dead wood. In other words, if there's no green there, it's too hard for an evergreen to come back from that. So you're going to go through, kind of get it sized out. And like I told you earlier, these are great trimmers. This Baca trimmer is very sharp. You can see how these are pretty good sized branches too. I'm walking right through this plant. And you kind of get, after a while you get the hang of it. It's kind of like art, it's not that hard. Again, electric shears, they will end up ruining the cuts. So you can see the cuts on these. You probably can't from that camera angle, but it's very clean. This is very important, again, to keep diseases out. It lets the plant actually recover faster when you have a nice, clean, sharp cut like that. There's a good sized branch I went through. So we do that first. Get our size in. This is easier for the homeowner. Sometimes I'll go through and do my selective pruning first, but to show you and make it a little easier to show you how we trim, I went ahead and did the hedge trimming first. Now, we're going to go in. This is the Corona trimmer that I had explained earlier. Again, get these at our place here for Frisella Nursery. You can get them a lot of other places as well. I really like this trimmer. It's been tried and true. My father and I have used these for years. There's another one called Felco that's a very good one too. Probably a little pricier than this one, but it still does the same job. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to kind of bounce our hand on somewhere where I've clipped some of these, especially these bigger pieces. I don't know if you can see that's a big piece of wood there. I want to make that disappear. And the reason I want to do that is wherever I cut, it's going to grow out from this point out. I'm going to selective prune this down. This is the body of the plant. I'm below that body, down inside here. You can't even tell I took that out. And the idea is, see how big that branch is? It's real thick. Now, instead of it growing right out here, it's going to come out down here, down below. This allows us to be able to trim and keep this plant in control for years. If you keep trimming, just surface trimming like that, wherever they grow out, I can't cut back into that wood again. I need to kind of stay above that cut, even if it's an inch or two. So by cutting that down, it helps us maintain this plant over the years. This, again, just go through, you can kind of feel them. They're stubby, they stick out. This one's a little bigger, it's got a lot of limbs on it, but I'm still gonna cut it out here. You can't tell, it just disappears. You go through, you can do that pretty quick. While you get the hang of it, it's not that difficult to do. And again, now it still looks nice. We really haven't cut anything out of it, as far as leaving any big holes. And once in a while, we keep these maintained so it's better looking. We're not going to have big holes. If you've not trimmed a lot, you're going to have a few big holes in it just from cutting with this. Not going to hurt. It'll come back. It'll grow back in. And then after a while, you won't have that anymore, especially if you do this once a year or once every other year. This is a way to maintain them. Yews are great, easy. I like them, again, I like size. In certain landscapes, I like a big plant, a big evergreen as a background. Sometimes people like them as privacy. So that's why we still use yews. I like the Niagara yew especially. It's a darker green yew, and it's very good the way it works out in the landscape.